Welcome back to Ken's TV. Before we get started, I encourage you all, or I'd ask you all rather, to like, comment, share, definitely subscribe. We talk about real life situations. Today I want to talk about having a life sentence. If you had a real life sentence, I'm not talking about, because different states, life don't always mean life. Like here in Kentucky, you might have a life sentence, but you still go up for parole in 20 years. Or you may have 25 to life, to where you still go up for parole, but you just have to do 25 years before you go up for parole. I'm talking natural life, like in the feds, where life means life. Would you rather do a life sentence? First of all, nobody would rather do a life sentence. But I'm just saying, for lack of better terms, would you rather do a life sentence or have the death penalty? And that's a very, very scary situation to be in. But there are a lot of people, unfortunately, that's in that situation. Having the death penalty, which I've never had, but from what I understand, that's just mentally draining to be in that situation and to know that your appeals are going to be exhausted at one point. And eventually, once all your appeals are exhausted, you're going to have a date. At least if you have life in prison, hopefully you can still stay in contact with your loved ones, your kids. If you have kids, or at least you can still be an inspiration to somebody out there. Even though it's gonna be by the telephone or letters, or if you're fortunate, you get visits. And in some places, which they don't have here, they have conjugal visits. If you're married. So I was asked that question, and that's a difficult question to answer, because I'd imagine you don't really know unless you're in that situation. Being in prison is terrible. It's awful, man. And it's not to be glorified in any manner. You're around a bunch of men all day long. That's all you see. So to be in a situation where you're never gonna be with a woman again, that's a hard pill to swallow, man. So I can't really say what I would do in that particular situation. But it is an interesting thought. Would you rather die or do life in prison? I guess it kind of depends also on what type of prison I'm at. Am I at a high level, maximum security, federal penitentiary where it really, really goes down? Like in the state of Kentucky, one of the most deadliest federal penitentiaries in the U.S. One of them is Big Sandy. People at one point, people was dying every week there. So would you rather take your chances in that environment? I don't know. It like I said, it depends. It depends on who you with, who you around. Are you affiliated? Are you just a loner where you have no sort of affiliation? You just a guy that's, here, I'm here to do my time. A lot of times that don't work in prison, unfortunately. You would think that it would, but nah, you're going to have to get with somebody. In an environment like that, in a prison like that, where it's a lot of violence, a lot of deaths, you think you're just going to walk around there by yourself? It don't happen that way. See, in prison, man, they prey on the weak. Now, when I say they prey on the weak, that don't mean necessarily that you're weak. You may be one of the toughest guys on the compound. But see, people watch you. They're going to evaluate your situation. Who are you hanging around with? How much do you go to commissary? Commissary is the store. Same way you go to the store out here. In there, it's called a commissary. Canteen. Either or. So they're going to sit around and they're going to peep. And if they see you and you go into the store every week and you coming back with big bags, you spending $100 every single week. But they notice that you don't really run with a crew. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know in federal prison, a lot of times you get with your home state or your region. So that's your car that you in. But if you decide, nah, man, I ain't getting with these dudes. I'm just here to do my time. And you chance it and you on your own, man, you going to get swallowed up. Pause. Because like I said, you could be the toughest guy on the compound or one of them. But you ain't whooping no 10 dudes that run up on you. Or 2 or 3 dudes that run in your cell with knives. Yeah, it goes down like that. From what I hear, like I said, I've never done federal prison time. But by all accounts, from what I've heard, it definitely goes down like that. So you got 3 dudes that run in your cell. And all 3 of them got knives. Man, you know what it is. Run that. What you gonna do? And what type of situations that you're gonna face. So if you having to deal with that on a daily basis or on a weekly basis rather, do you want to deal with that? Or would you rather just be out of here? So that's why I said that it a lot of times it depends on the circumstances that you're in. Now, if you're in a laid back place, it's not a whole lot of violence. You can just sit back, do your time. You're not too far away from home to where your family can still come and visit you. That's a totally different situation in itself. Because you're not having to fight for your life every single day. Now, you never want to get too comfortable in any sort of prison. You never want to get, because it can go down anywhere. But when you just having to fight for your life every day in a federal maximum security prison, and you not really affiliated like that on the streets, man, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to, I don't know if I'd want to do that. Prison is a very, very, very scary place, man. And I hope and pray that the majority of you don't ever have to experience prison. Can't nobody help you once you in there. Ain't no calling home to mama. Ain't no calling home to your brother, your sister. Can't nobody help you once you in prison, man. You a man or you a mouse. You're going to have to stand up and if you stand up for yourself, at least people's going to say, okay, you got some heart, win or lose. But if you just let one person do something to you, take something from you, everybody's going to do it. Because everybody's going to look at you like, come on, man. The scavengers, vultures, dudes in there, man, that they don't have nothing to lose. There's dudes in there that just, they don't get no money or anything sent in. Yeah, you need money in prison. Unless you want to eat them nasty prison trays, and it's not a lot. But you over here and you watching people eat big pizzas and barbecue chicken and anything you can imagine. And you over here eating them garbage chow hall trays. What they call the chow hall. You know what I mean? So you definitely need money in prison. So it's just, I don't know. I heard, I watched the Tony Yayo interview on Glad TV. And they were talking about, would you rather just take yourself out or do life in prison? Hopefully, like I said, nobody even has to be put in that situation. So think about what you do. Before you pick that gun up to go do something to somebody or to go rob somebody and the robbery end up going wrong. So now the simple 211 turns into a 187. Think about that. Am I willing to do life in prison over this so-called lick I'm getting ready to hit. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. The Real Kens TV. We trying to get it up and going. We a new channel. You know what I mean? But we gonna just keep telling these stories and keep telling these stories, and eventually it will catch on.